Hey, Nick, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Joe.
So tell me a little bit about the cloud strategy. When did you begin to formulate it?
Well, we were starting to see a lot of feedback both from clients, industry, our engineers on what's our strategy around cloud, what are we going to do, and everything's delayed for us a little bit because we're in the Midwest anyway. So we felt like we had a little bit of time, but we really felt towards the end of last year we needed to really define our cloud strategy. And so that was really a key time that we said, we're getting close to the end of 2009. We need to know where we're going and what we're going to do to be able to get in front of this and not feel like we're all of a sudden now reacting because of problems that we run into because we haven't defined that.
Okay, so what did you ultimately implement for 2010?
So we ultimately looked at a number of different scenarios. One is which just partner with somebody that could provide cloud services to our clients. Ignore it, bury our head in the sand and hope that it goes away.
Right.
Or do something actively about it as five nines. And we really decided in the end, due to the customers, the clients we work with and partner with every day, they trust us. And we're their partner because they trust us to provide those services to them. And so at the end of the day, we decided that we really felt like we could be competitive, and part of our strategy was going to be to create a private cloud where we could do things like application-based hosting, where we're just delivering something like an EMR application or a line of business application to a desktop, where we might be providing just things like hosted Exchange, hosted SharePoint, or probably most importantly for us, doing environment hosting for a client that might have 1, 2, 4 servers that says, you know what, I don't want servers anymore. I don't want CapEx like that anymore. I want to know that my environment is in a highly redundant, that's in a stable cloud-based environment, and I just want you to take it away. And when we looked at how to do that, it made so much sense for us to do that privately in our own cloud than to try and work with another vendor that, we're not sure the level of support, we're not sure the level of access or control. So in our case, we have all that. We have the access, we have the control, we can do it cost effectively, and it works for our clients.
And what percentage of your clients are asking about cloud? Any estimates in terms of how many are embracing your cloud strategy so far?
It's hard. It's harder to say that now because it's part of the conversation that we bring up now. Whereas we feel that a lot of other people are afraid to bring it up because they don't have a solution. We're bringing it up almost every time we walk in, particularly on a server migrations, infrastructure refreshes. It comes up 90% of the time, if not 100% of the time.
Okay.
What we're also but we're also proactively bringing it up. So it's all over the place, and it's not going away.
And what do you think 2011, I mean, in my mind, as I think of 2011, I'm expecting this huge wave of marketing and advertising from Microsoft for Office 365 and just this whole consumer push, which I think will create more demand in the corporate space. Are you tracking any trends for 2011?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that's one of the reasons why I'm happy that we did the things that we did back in 2009, because now we don't feel like we're behind the curve on cloud. We feel like we're ahead of the curve. And so where we're sitting in rooms now with people saying, how do we figure this out? How do we price this? How do we deploy this? We figured a lot of that stuff out for what works for us. And now we're seeing, people are trying to figure out what this is now, because now Microsoft all over the place is running their, to the cloud commercials, which are actually quite humorous because they're not necessarily talking about very much of cloud-based stuff.
Right.
But, it's going to be there. It's part of every conversation. I was blown away just yesterday. I went out to a meeting with a potential new client, and we were talking to them about what their environment looks like, and he's like, yeah, we just did a server migration, and, our servers are at rack space now.
Yeah.
And they had done that without an IT guy. It was interesting. And so because we weren't involved there, now we're looking at that. And that's the reality that a lot of service providers are going to be looking at if they're not getting into that and figuring out how they fit with the cloud. All of a sudden find yourself saying, okay, well, I guess I can help you manage your workstations.
Right.
Isn't where we want to be, right?
Right, absolutely. Well, Nick, I hope you keep us posted as you make more moves in 2011.
I definitely will, Joe. Thanks.